Good night. How went doing tonight? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Herman Jill Spirits Around. I have some news for you tonight. We're gonna start with the students. The student in Florida. They let her walk out, after being told to limit Black History Month program for this year. They pretty much wants to just erase the history for the kids for this year. So more than 200 students walk out of class, you know, um, at Hillcrest High School. The protest happened in a response to a student saying they were told by the school leader, to omit certain events from a student-led Black History Month program scheduled for February the 22nd. So ABC News, you know, um, this go ran out one of the students was in charge of letting 200 student protesters now. So now we got the children is getting involved in this Black History fight. So 200 students had walked out and the protest lasts for about an hour. The student had said that the teacher said they had to leave out a topic, like civil rights, movement and slavery from this year program. So they want to leave out the main topic, civil rights and moving slavery. That's the main topic of our history. So now this student, is talking. Now this student is saying, there was insult. And they were saying it was out of line. Now these are students saying this here. They're saying they felt the insult, and they said they felt it like it was out of line. So this student had led the protest. Her name is Jamada Brown. She organized the walkout at Hillcrest High School. So the walkout was told that we could not talk about slavery and civil rights and movement. So now our kids is involved. Our kids is involved. They're protesting because of this here, banning Black history. So tell them what they will not, be learning this year. So when the teacher told them what they're not gonna be learning, and also told them what to take the topics that they're gonna be taking out, so Miss Brown, she took it on herself to lead them for to protest. So where they walk out of class. So they all walk out of class, and it was 200 students. So Black history lesson are being targeted all across the country. So Black history is unique. Is what our ancestors had went through back then. And a lot of time, if some of us is not fully equipped on Black history. But we sees it on TV. They also have books. I had encyclopedias before Katrina. I had to get some more history books. So it's unique in itself, and without civil rights movement and slavery, there will be no history. There will be no history to tell. So no ban. Black history. Black history cannot be erased. That's our generation. That's our ancestors, what they had went through back there. So civil rights movement and slavery remain. I request for it to remain. And I also have advice, for all parents, all across the country, who have kids that's in school, purchase history books, to have in the household. With this history fight going on, our kids is caught in the middle. Because we got our kids walking out the school, because of this fight. Because they're trying to erase history. So they want to learn about their ancestors, and now our kids is walking out of school because they want to learn about it. That's why I say for all parents to buy the history books to have in the household. So civil rights movement and slavery are a big part of our history. So that's the big topic that you can't really cannot take out, because that's the main issue that had happened. So it cannot be erased. So Black history cannot be erased. You know, and I request that it remain. It remain in the schools. So the kids, if you don't have that, we don't have Black history. And we got these kids, they walking out because they want to learn more about Black history. So we see it on TV once a month, once a year. And I also would advise all the parents to try to buy Black history books, to have in the household. So our kids is involved. So we all have to try to get on the same page, with this Black history. Cause without, these main posts that they wants to take out, there won't be no Black history. So that's on the Black history right there. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about Social Security and Medicaid. So Mr. President Bennett, he had called for protecting Social Security, and Medicaid. It been talked about for a while, or trying to end it. So in lowering the health care costs for working families. So the Republican members of the Congress have proposed to end Social Security and Medicaid. Proposed making health care and prescription and medicine very expensive. So he also explained, but we also have, Mr. President, inflation reduction. He also explained the insulin. You know, um, all the American can benefit from insulin being at $35 a month for their supplies. Because it was way expensive than that. So he got it down to $35 a month for their supplies. Mr. President he been taking action, because he been talking about this for a while. He been taking action to strengthen the Medicaid and protect from bedrock program that America had paid into 10 million a citizen depend on support their livelihood. You know, that's the money check that they get once a month. When they get a certain age, they can't work no more. So that's the only income they depend on for their livelihood. Mr. President also said for years the Republicans been they've been trying to end the Social Security card, Social Security and Medicaid. They say it's been talked about for a while. They also want to raise the Social Security retirement age. So they want to raise the age, not only take the Social Security from them, but they're trying to raise the age. Right now I think the age is 65 years old. But they're trying to raise it. So and when they reach 65 years old and they're not working, what they supposed to do with no income? They got to keep a roof over their head. They have to have food and money for accessory. That's their only income when they cannot work. So and they depend on it. They depend on no. So I request that Social Security remain. Medicaid. They receive monthly income, so they won't be able to pay for Medicaid. So I request that Social Security remain and Medicaid remain. But when they get to that age, when they get to the age they cannot work, they won't be able to afford to pay none of this stuff. If they end the Social Security, that's their only income. So Medicaid, I request that Social Security remain and Medicaid remain. Because when they get a certain age, they don't have no other income besides Social Security or their retirement plan. And some jobs don't have retirement plan. So when you at that age, you just stuck if you don't get Social Security. So we talked about these students. 200 students had walked out of class, because the teacher told them they would not discuss about Black history. They also said they was taking out civil rights movement and slavery. That's the main topic right there of our history. So when they say they want to learn about their history and they're saying they cannot say anything or discuss anything about history in the class. So that's when Miss Brown she came. She was the leader, and that's when she instruct everyone to get out the class, and they start protesting. So now we got the kids involved. So something had to be done about this here. We've been having history every year. So why this year is a problem? We've been having history every year. So why this year is a problem with history? We have to get on the same page at some point because now we have kids involved. We got kids walking out the class because they want to learn about history and they don't want they're taking so much stuff out. It's the main history that they want to learn. So we talked about this the student, about Black history, and we also talk about the Social Security and Medicaid that Republican wants to end. And Mr. President Biden is fighting so hard for it. And I request that Social Security remain in Medicaid because when they get a certain age, they don't have no other income to try to pay for this stuff or try to live a normal life. So that's all the show news I have for you on today, and I'll see y'all on the next video.